what is going on, guys? My name is Leo Master. Welcome back to another Overwatch League news video. And today, guys, there's been, a bit of a slow couple of days of Overwatch League news, like once, like every couple of days. But I feel like we have a lot to talk about now with a lot of information coming up. And a new thing that's came up recently, the day I'm filming this video, we have SF Shock. They have signed Nero. We're instantly going right into it. The San Francisco Shock has signed Nero. Obviously, it was leaked by Halo Dots that he was going to join Houston, but actually, Halo leaked it like a couple weeks earlier, maybe a week or two, that another team came in and had a better offer, and he didn't want to put the team out there. Nero going to the Shock. We all predicted it was going to be maybe the Shock or maybe another team. So Nero going to the SF Shock, and I honestly wanted this move back earlier in the season. I made a whole video about it, trades that needed to happen. It was Nero I wanted to talk about, and Nero, I even predicted him going to the Shock, and I'm happy that it's now happening. I've seen a lot of recency bias about Nero not being good, which blows me away. You guys, if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know how good Nero is and how I highly speak of him, because Nero, very flexible. People only really know him for his I should say, and a little bit of his Genji from the Overwatch League season, but if you've watched him in Contenders, you guys know how insane this player is, and also how flexible Nero is in general when it comes to Overwatch. And so he has a wide hero pool. He plays every projectile hero very high level, and he's absolutely insane. I think we'll see that a lot more this season. He'll actually be starting, which is just great to see. He's going to be starting almost every game, most likely. Maybe there'll be a rotation like there was last season with Ants or Striker or Nero, even Tayo now. So we'll see how this goes out for the Shock, but I can't wait to see Nero on this Shock, under Krusty. Krusty even said, Nero put it out himself, that, he was going to make him the best player in the world. So I'm excited to see that one come out. We know Nero at this point is going to be starting for that flex DPS position, and I'm all around super excited to see this one. Nero was a fantastic player, previously in the Contenders days on Toronto Esports, and now he's going to be on the San Francisco Shock, and I definitely think the signing just is a great replacement for Rascal as well. He kind of brings almost Rascal's same playstyle, just a different person, I should say, in general. So Nero going to be great for this team. I'm not going to repeat myself. Now let's move on to the Seoul Dynasty. So Seoul Dynasty has made some really unexpected moves these past couple of days. So we're going to start off with the one that really surprised me, is Seoul Dynasty has signed Saebyeolbe and Anamo. And also we'll talk about Tobi. Tobi was released as well. That's why Anamo makes more sense now if you guys did not know. But SBB, Anamo, joining the Seoul Dynasty, and this is going to be a weird one to look at in the future. Saebyeolbe, great captain. He needs to be in Overwatch League for how good of a person he is behind the scenes and leader. I thought it was going to be hard for him finding the team, but I guess he found Seoul Dynasty. It's going to be a good team for him, most likely. Most likely going to be benched, though, under Fitz, and Profit's still going to be there at times. Maybe a new player will come in, who knows. But Saebyeolbe was a pretty good DPS player, has been actually a good DPS player, I should say. Not pretty good. He's been a good DPS player these past 3 seasons for the NYXL. Now going on to Seoul Dynasty, I think it's going to be hard, like I said already, for him to actually start. Maybe he'll be that hardcore Tracer one-trick player for this team whenever Tracer becomes meta, and you also have Fitz beside, you have the double hit scan meta. So all around, Saebyeolbe does fill in some holes that this team has. Profit, very flexible, but if you want a hardcore, super hardcore Tracer player, I guess you have Saebyeolbe, even though we know Profit has a fantastic Tracer from what we've seen in the past as well. So Saebyeolbe gonna fill in those holes that are kind of needed just in case kind of thing. So Saebyeolbe gonna be a good fit for the Seoul Dynasty, hopefully, and also behind the scenes for how positive and a leader he is, so he'll be there. Now on to another one from the Seoul Dynasty, Anamo, which I am in the middle on this one. I don't know if this is the signing they need, and maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe Anamo will be completely different on Seoul Dynasty from what we've seen on the NYXL, but I was looking at this, maybe he's more of a downgrade to Tobi, but then again, we've seen Tobi on this team for multiple seasons now. We're really used to Tobi on the Seoul Dynasty, but hey, Anamo coming into this team, and I'm interested to see how this works out. I'm not saying anything good or bad just yet. I'm interested because Anamo, these past couple of seasons, I should say mostly this past season, in Season 2, we started to find his flaws, like I said in previous videos, but Anamo has been going on a downward slump, I should say, in his play style. Now, if it comes to him on the Seoul Dynasty, maybe we'll see a huge upgrade, a whole new team, new coaching staff, because IMT has been on there for the MXL for a while, and maybe him going on the Seoul Dynasty be a whole new path, I guess you could say, about him going on a new team, new coaches. Maybe this could be the, move for him. Obviously, he went through tryouts, they said he was good, and maybe this is the move for him. I don't know just yet. From an outsider, it's very interesting to see how this plays out. So far, it kind of looks like a downgrade compared to Tobi, but if this is the best one they could have gotten, and probably was the best one they could have gotten for a main support replacement, then hey, I'm all for it. Now onto the sad news from Seoul Dynasty. If you guys did not see, Tobi has been released from the Seoul Dynasty. Very, very hard to see this one. Hurts almost, because he's been on this team so long. Lunatic High, Seoul Dynasty Season 1, 2, 3, Obviously, Seoul Dynasty making a new changes, making new stuff in general. Everyone's gone from the previous team. It's a whole new Seoul Dynasty now. Tobi was the last man standing. It's now gone now. Sucks to see. Tobi, he's been a solid main sport player. He's been good almost every season. I definitely think season 2 was probably his weakest one, but out of all the seasons, he's been solid main sport player and deserves to be in the Overwatch League. So hopefully we see him in the next season for the Overwatch League, because I definitely think he deserves it. And he was someone I studied a lot when it came to main sport play. He's still one of the best, I could say, if you study him as well. He's a fantastic main sport player. Hopefully he stays in Overwatch League next season. Maybe the Florida Mayhem. Obviously they're rumored for Slime right now, but maybe Tobi can go to Florida Mayhem. They need a main sport still. There's teams I think would love to have Tobi on their team, not even just playing, maybe behind the scenes and just teaching them some things. If Tobi cannot find a team, then hey, he can probably be a really good coach. So Tobi hopefully has a good future ahead of him in the Overwatch League, maybe streaming, who knows, but we'll need to see what goes on with Tobi later on. Now onto some more San Francisco Shock news. It is actually something pretty small, but hey, it could be huge for you. Is Super being re-signed to the SF Shock? He has been re-signed. We've been questioning these past couple of days and weeks, I should say, if he's going to go to the Houston Outlaws, the LA Gladiators, obviously before Muse was signed, but we all questioned what was going to happen to Super, and he has been re-signed to the SF Shock, which honestly kind of surprised me a little bit. He made it seem like he was going to retire, go full-time streaming, or go to a different team like the Houston Outlaws, but hey, he's staying at the Shock. I'm happy to see that. He's kind of like the mascot, it kind of feels like, for the Shock. He's there all the time. They always get him in interviews. He's just a great player for this team. All around, he deserves to be on the Shock. He has that trash talk as well, being on the winning team. So I'm happy to see Super stay on the Shock. He's a great player. I wish we saw him more. That's why I wanted to see him go to the Houston Outlaws, because we'll be seeing him start all the time. And also beside Dante again, Junkbuck, and Harsha. Would have been great to see, but hey, he's staying on the Shock. He's going to most likely get another win. Now onto the Guangzhou Charge. Not going to talk about a lot here. All they did is signed Neko and Daemin as new coaches. These have been leaked these past couple of weeks. Nothing huge to talk about just yet, but yes, Neko, previously on Toronto Defiant, previously on Boston Uprising, and O2. He's now a coach for the Guangzhou Charge, and also Daemin. If you guys remember back from Season 1, Daemin was a DPS player for the Shanghai Dragons. Wasn't the best at the time. I know he went through like a rough couple of times in contenders when he left Shanghai Dragons, but hey, now in the Guangzhou Charge being a coach, maybe this will be good for them, players, now coaches, and we'll see, how everything goes through, and they kind of understand how much stress it has as a player, so maybe they'll be coming in for the Charge, also working on Arachne once again as well with the Guangzhou Charge. Hopefully they're good coaches. Nothing much to talk about just yet, because they don't really have any results yet as coaches. Now onto the last thing we got for today. It is Jmac. He has announced that he is retiring as a player for the Overwatch League. He says another start as well. So all around, sucks to see Jmac really retire right now. He was alright of a player. We had high hopes for Jmac coming in, to the London Spitfire. At least I did, previously hearing the public opinions and also seeing him play in contenders. He was actually a really good player, and I was having high hopes that he was going to be good on the London Spitfire. Unfortunately, they did not come through, and I wanted them to be back in the Overwatch League, maybe for the Boston Uprising, but that was really it. But it sucks to see Jmac go. Hopefully Jmac has everything planned out, what he wants to do in the future, and maybe he'll do something that he always wanted to do. So sucks to see him retire, but hey, it happens. Anyways, guys, that was it for all the Overwatch League news. What are your guys' thoughts on Nero to the Shock? Do you like the move? Do you hate the move? Explain if you want to. What do you think of Seoul Dynasty making moves as well? Tobi being released, what team do you think he will go to? And also Saebyeolbe And Anamo. What are your thoughts on that as well? If you guys want to stay more intuitive Overwatch League news and Overwatch League stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe down below, and also join my Discord down below as well. And don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch, and don't forget to hit that bell, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.